In the school of architecture, I never took salary that I got 800 rupees. I never took it home for all those 20 years when I was in the beginning of my career. It's a temple. How can you do it? How can you take money from the temple? I would like to take you from a path which normally people are not supposed to travel, or they don't travel. This is a straight way to go. This one is another way to go. But I have to find whether there is a way to come down. The whole idea is, this jungle has been made by us. Before it was all barren. So we talk about architecture. I think architecture is a matter of transformation. Transformation of all odd situations into a favorable condition. All these mounds were made by me standing on the rooftop there. This structure is concrete, but completely free from there and inserted like this. We would overflow the water and the water would come down and cascade into the ponds, and it looked like a nice boat.
You see it as all Indian, and yet you can analyze this building as much as modernist, with exposed concrete, with geometric forms, with conscious reuse of modular scale in vertical dimension, to anything that you can see it as. But yet in a sense it's truly an Indian. So again, the kind of way it has been able to demonstrate this idea of contemporary with traditional, and without replicating the form or the diagram or the elements, purely in its spirit, the soul, that it does these both. So I think it's in that light I do find this project to be of great value.
If it is a sustainable building, it should use everything which is available from almost west. And all this is done by the local people. This is all done. I told them, just do what you like. I gave them pieces. So they wanted, this is Amitabh Bachchan for them. I was thinking, why should an office be like an office? Why should I not only have an office only for myself but close at 5? Why can't it become a public space? So you're talking about public and private, form versus formlessness, growth and other things, and yet it has to be a studio. And then you talk about partly above, partly below ground. All this happened, and that happened because that building was there. I had made this building by chance, the extension. That building happened because I had to make this into non-agricultural land. And so I had to find something. Yeah, so the neighbor had only curved sheets. So I said, overnight, let me make the curved sheets and make a plan. So I made a plan and I made the roof and I got my stamp. But then I said, my God, how nice this is. So always there are clues. We must be aware to use them.
And he's so easy with the staff and other people. Even the ordinary person feels so comfortable with him. And then the whole concept of my life starts changing. That things happen, which I never used to believe. And now things are happening.
She had that desire to discover something else. Actually, it is her aspect. That's what I was telling you yesterday. Everybody has their own life and their own destiny. What one is doing is that coincidence only makes a crack in that opening. And if they really go through that crack, their life is made in a different way, which they had not known. I spend all my time, even now and whatnot. I think actually credit goes to my wife mostly. But I tell you one thing, human being by nature is a compassionate, lovable animal, highly sophisticated.
He is able to talk to any level of person. He can talk to a peon or a driver for 2 hours at a stretch, and he can talk to a minister as required. And he is aware of all these levels of society. That, combined with this rigor, I think gave him a certain distinct outstanding in the way in which he looked at architecture.
तो मैंने कहा नहीं गैलरी क्यों बनाएंगे, अंडरग्राउंड बनाएंगे, गुफा बना देंगे. तो बोलता हाँ गुफा अच्छा है, करो गुफा करेंगे. But I said I am going to challenge you. You can't paint. You will have to invent something. I said you can only invent because you have the ability to invent. So I said I am going to challenge myself and I will challenge you. When I made a model, I shook the model. I said I don't like going straight. So these things became like that, you know. And then I said that's how it should be. So the thrust changed, that it was designed on a computer. So first time in my life or anywhere as I know, a completely sustainable building. This is saucers. Black saucers I got made, 10,000 for Cobra. So the myth became here integrated part of the whole story.
And he was constantly traveling, constantly sketching, looking at places in India and abroad. There's a very open-minded approach to architecture, whether it is in India or elsewhere. But whatever he was impressed and inspired by somehow remained as something in his memory, and which has affected a lot of the work later. So that we can see from the late 70s onwards, Doshii trying to create a distinctive language which takes off the best of both his masters, but is his own.
When you have a role model, you have a problem. You have comparison, then you have a problem. When you think that this is the only way you can survive, then you have a problem. And when I went to Paris, Corbusier did not pay me for 8 months. And I had hardly any money because I had separated from my parents. I had very little money. I went against my brother's wish to Paris. I was not able to speak. 8 months with olives and cheese and bread, that's all. Crying.
This is something that is much deeper inside, and it's another way of looking at not architecture alone, but at life. I think that's his direction.
Corbusier has been my guru, but I said if he is a guru, then I should not imitate him, but I should follow his spirit. I am saying be grounded in today, wherever you are, like the trees are grounded. Then this tree will not talk about saying that can I become a champa or a mango. Then it grows. You see, Corbusier told me once, which I think is important, that remember there is somebody standing behind you who is better than you, and you are answerable to